wondered how a storyteller or a narrator makes you feel his innermost thoughts and feelings get connected to you? Yeah, that is where the confessional narrative comes into play. So today we'll move into the world of confessional narrative and see the most importance and the influence that the confessional narrative created from literature to film. Let's look at more about birth of confessional narrative. Confessional poetry was a literary movement. Confessional poetry, or also known as confessionalism, is a literary movement that was born in 1950s to 1960s. So it was emerged in United States, and the main characteristic of confessionalism is a personalized poem, or it always used I as a main context. Like it doesn't use in third person narrative or second person narrative. It always is a direct connection between the narrator and the reader. So now, how is the concept applied in actual narrative? So I'll just give you a small example. So like say, let's imagine a detective is solving a case and he's directly speaking to you. He's letting you know the challenges he's facing and the doubt he's getting to clear the case. So this adds a layer of suspense and connection to you as well as the detective. As he is narrating all those to you, you feel that as if even you are involved in the journey of detecting the case. So this connection will be missing in the traditional narrative style. So confession narrative makes a innermost thought connection between the audience and the narrator. So yeah, this is the short brief of the concept. This is a question for you. What exactly is the concept all about? So it's a narrative device where a character directly addresses to the audience. Here is a narrator who directly speaks to you by opening up the three major elements as showed in the slide, which is feelings, experience, and thought. He'll by getting connected to the character's feelings, thoughts, and experience, you will feel that you are connected to the character's inner soul, and you might feel the bonding between you and the narrator, and you'll feel as if you are also involved in that narration or in that story. This is what the confessional narrative exactly does. Let's look into the major style and applications of confessional narrative. So the first one is epistolary confession. So epistolary confession is a mode of confession where the narrator uses letter as a major part. I've taken a famous novel for the example, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is a novel where the protagonist Charlie, he is an introvert, so he'll feel difficult to speak or get communicated with the audience. He'll hesitate to speak. So whatever he wants to express or he wants to enjoy, he just confesses it in the letter. And we see through the end of the story, we see that he'll slowly change, he'll slowly mingle with the people. But through the journey, you get connected to the character Charlie by experiencing his emotions and his thoughts and how he came through the journey. The wallflower here describes the actual meaning of wallflower is the one who has been separated from the group or attending a party or being neglected from a large group. That is what the wallflower means. But at the end of the novel, you see there is a different perspective or the definition given by the author of wallflower. I personally recommend you people to go read the novel, and even it has been adapted into the film by Stephen himself has directed the movie, so you can watch the movie too. And next comes monologue and confession. Monologue confession. So the narrator here directly addresses to the audience, sharing their thoughts and feelings. So I've taken an example of Lady Lazarus, which is a poem by Sylvia Plath. Here we see a confession monologue. Like throughout the poem, Sylvia Plath will be addressed as Lady Lazarus. So you will get connected to the narrator. Like you feel that Sylvia Plath is speaking to you. She'll just explain all the emotional connection, all the trouble, trauma that she's faced, and she wants to come back even more stronger to face all this. This is what the entire poem is all about. Next comes the internal thought confession, where the narrator revealing the innermost thought and confession without adding an external audience directly. Example, I've taken the example of Crime and Punishment by Fedor. So in Crime and Punishment, we see the protagonist is engaged with all the mischievous crime. He just kills people for sake of money, but at the end he feels guilty for his own crime and work. He himself confesses through his inner thoughts. He speaks to himself, whatever I have done is really bad, so I have to confess my mistake. He himself surrenders to the police. So let's look into more such example to get a better grasp of the concept. Jane Eyre is a novel by Charlie Bronte which is adapted into several films and TV series also. So one of the notable adaptation is 2011 version, which I've taken as an example.
Then the essential things are the same. Be my wife.
You have a wife.
I pledge you my honor, my fidelity,
You cannot.
my love until death do us part.
What of truth?
I would have told you the truth.
You are deceitful, sir.
I was wrong to deceive you.
So yeah, this is a type of monologue confession where they both confess each other. She says that she wants to be true to herself. He says, please forgive me. So they both realize, they both confess each other to them. This is a type of monologue confession that we see in this movie. So there is another example that I give you a task. So go watch this movie. There is an interesting scene where you can find a different style of confessional narrative, and please comment your perspective or whatever you feel about what you discovered about the confessional narrative below in the comments. Yeah. Next we'll move into the impact that has been created. First one is empathy. The narrator gets connected to the reader in the form of thoughts and struggles and vulnerability, which creates empathy. Moral exploration. So while this confession poetry, it always says whatever mistake you have done, they'll confess that, or whatever they are facing trouble, they'll confess that. So for the reader, it will be a boost up, so that even if they are doing some wrong, they can correct it. That is what the impact that creates for the reader. Next is subjective realism. Through the first person account, confession narrative often highlights the sense of realism. So it makes the author feel the realistic feel. Like they always use the first person narrative as if the narrator is speaking to you. So you'll feel the realistic feeling while reading the confessional narrative poems or books related to the confessional narrative. Next is personal transformation. As I said earlier, you'll feel a personal transformation within yourself. Even if you have something to confess to people, you'll really come up with it when you indulge yourself in reading more confessional narrative books, poems and movies. I have taken a metaphor to convey it in a more easiest way. Like, think a confession narrator as a secret diary, as I've shown here in the red book. So it is your confession narrator, and or you can keep it as a diary or as a private conversation. And it's like it's a character that's whispering deeper secrets to you, and the pages or the scenes transist and gets connected to you. So the pages and the scenes are not actual pages and scenes. It's a whisper that is whispering to you. So this is a metaphor that if I use such metaphor, I feel that you will get more connected to the point of view that whatever the confession narrative is. So I've just used the book and the whisper to tell my point of view about the confessional narrative. Yeah. Remember, before concluding, I want you to remember one thing. So the next time you find yourself immersed in the story where a character betrays their soul directly to you, or you feel a connection between the story, you remember that is the magic of confessional narrative. It's not just a narrative style or technique. It is a invention into the innermost feeling of a human experience that only the narrative of the confession narrative gives you. So yeah. So thank you all for your patience, and hope this content is very helpful to you.